All right, here we go.
Champions Paris draw show. Of course, I can't do this alone. I'm joined by Victoria here today from our global
Okay. Oh God. I don't know. I don't know what would be good in terms of the Pacific teams. I have no idea. I love how she says she hates it. Man, can we get like 2 good groups for Pacific teams? I don't know. The seedings are so weird. The seeding is so weird.
So we have America, CN, EMEA, and Pacific. That is obvious. Makes sense, right? And of course, regional seedings for champions.
What's funny is, as weird as the seeding is, the 4th seed is generally pretty straightforward. The only one would be Heretics, where it's like, do they regain, right? Do they rediscover their form or the meta or whatever it might be that they're missing? Heretics would be the one where it's like, oh man, like you do not want to meet that 4th seed. That's not a free 4th seed. They look you know, quite shaky given the standards we have for them towards the end of stage 2, but that would be the one where I wouldn't want it. But MIBR, XLG, and DRX I think are clearly the weaker teams of their respective regions. But that doesn't mean I think they're free. Who knows? Who knows what the extra couple weeks can go? Oh, what's it gonna be? Paper X. Oh man. Oh man.
It's okay, I got you, girl. You good, you good. All right, next, let's get our next.
Oh, we're gonna just do it. Okay, seed by seed. Okay. Oh. Billy. I think Billy's gonna be fairly underrated, at least by the fans. I would hope that most teams are not underrating them. I think Billy, they've rediscovered a pretty good style and balance of their gameplay, and I think they have, you know, the individuals you need to make the X factor.
All right, now let's go ahead and draw our.
I mean, if you had to compare among the first seeds, yeah, Billy's probably the weakest, just because you've got all like super favorites. Oh, is it gonna be? Oh, they get pushed down.
Wait a minute, there's a problem here.
Gold boy.
So that means RQ goes to
oh, RQ and BLG in the same group? Hold on. There's a world that... Oh, I don't know. Giant X.
Now this team will go into Group A slot because we need to...
Giant X is scary, but I think, like, in terms of just Pacific teams POV, Giant X they're beatable. They're very strong, they're very sturdy, but they're beatable. Ooh, that's... Man, NRG in the Team Liquid group. I mean, they don't play each other first, right? You play the other lower seeds first, so... DRG. Oh, G2 is on track for a good group. Dude, give me T1. Give me T1 in the G2 group.
Yeah, I don't know.
But for now,
I'm nervous. Hear the crowd talking. Couple yappers over here.
EDG and Paper X again in the same group. Are you serious?
Oh my God, this is crazy.
They might not match up, but how do we always get that? Oh my God, Group B is cooked. Group B is so cooked.
We have to wait till it settles, but
Group B is actually cooked.
That's one of our matchups, as well as GX and EDG. Sentinels.
Wait, no, Group B has to be MIBR. Group B is weird.
Little wonky, okay? Because Sentinels would go here, but we have NRG here. They would go
shoot.
B, but we have G2 here.
Yeah, so what do we do?
They go, class. They go over to...
But they can't, because there's already an EMEA team here.
That's right. So
they swap here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a direct swap. You don't just like redo. Oh, no way, man. No way.
That's how it works, okay? I want no shenanigans and no back talk from anyone, all right? Let's do this. T1.
Group A is cooked.
Yeah.
Yes, T1, G2 in the same group, though. That's spicy. Let's friggin' go. Wait, it's just... They're just limited.
One spot these can go in, but
Yeah.
we're gonna finish it up.
Oh, we're just going to draw anyway, just to make sure that there's no rigging going on. Okay.
So, because again, DRX is a Pacific
Wait, so where does
team,
DRX have to go?
and
Oh,
two Pacific teams
actually, though,
go into Group
most doable group for DRX. Their
confirmed.
DRX
But yeah, actually,
has the
yeah,
5th,
I can
6th
confirm.
place
That's
plot
all
armor.
good.
That's crazy. Might be the most doable group for DRX.
Remember,
That's
got the
insane.
slots covered, but the good news is XLG can go right into Group A. And there is your Group A bracket.
PaperX should be fine in Group A.
Oh boy.
I mean, Sen can give them a run if they're playing at their peak, but I mean, Giant X could, but I think PaperX wins out.
Instead, they will go into Group D.
Group D is cooked.
I see Baby Bay nodding on the side over there. We'll talk to him in a little bit.
G2 Heretics T1.
It is MIBR.
Oh my
You
god.
can do it. Do the honor.
Thank you so much. And there you have it.
Oh my god.
Here are your champions groups.
Wait, these are like the... I wasn't even imagining these combos.
PaperX, XLG, Giant X, and Sentinel.
It's actually a
Group
really
B, you have
even
BLG, MIBR,
draw.
Q, and Fnatic. In Group C, you have Team Liquid, DRX, NRG, and EDG, and finally in Group D, G2.
It's a pretty
Team
even
DRG,
draw.
and T1. Audience, who
Like,
do you think's the group of death?
Every
Out loud.
group. I mean, group of death?
Every letter.
Every letter in
Every
there.
letter.
Group Z.
It's
Victoria,
between...
when can people watch
Oh,
this
yeah,
match
that's
breakdown?
tough. Actually, it
Starts
might...
September 12th
it
in
might be
Paris.
Group
It's our
B.
first time in Paris.
Okay, let's talk about the groups first. PaperX. I mean, listen, the PaperX got by far the toughest second seed, right? Toughest second seed. And I mean, I think the third seed is after the first seed. I think the third seed is the most dangerous because these are all contenders, not favorites, but contenders for the trophy. EDG is probably the weakest out of them all. It just got updated. What got updated here? So EDG is probably the weakest out of the third seeds, like in their current form, for sure. But it's not like there's like a huge tier gap. I think they're just a step behind. But then you consider the individuals and how they were able to show up last year, what that team does under pressure. It's like I would say that all of them are contenders. EDG may be a bit more of an underdog, maybe T1 slightly more of an underdog. I don't think so though. I would actually rate Sentinels and T1 pretty similarly in terms of likelihood of winning the trophy. In current form, probably Sen above T1, but so third seed is the toughest. So third seed, I don't think there's really any point in thinking if PaperX got like a tough or not. So in that sense, PaperX is fine. But they did get the toughest second seed, right? I don't think you're ever thinking PaperX has a chance to get upset by a fourth seed other than Team Heretics, right? Oh, wait, no, yeah, you're not playing that. The formatting got me all confused. So they'll be playing SOG first. In fact, actually, you know what? Even better. Warm up a little bit. Not saying SOG isn't worthy of a good match, but should be a simpler match. And then you play whoever wins out of that. Giant X Sentinels, though, this one, huge question mark. Group B. Group B is interesting. I think this is kind of the closest crunched up group. I think BLG and RQ are very much on the same level. And then Fnatic, while I have hope for them, like my gut is saying that Fnatic is the strongest team here. But in their current form, yeah, I would actually say that they are basically on the same level as the other two. And then MIBR is definitely the weakest team here. But they could do damage. I think they could do damage. I don't expect MIBR to get out of this group, unfortunately, but I don't think I would be shocked if they did. Out of these three, I don't know. I mean, just because of my bias for Fnatic, if I had to pick, I would say like Fnatic seems pretty likely to move out, and then it's kind of between BLG and RRQ. But in all objectively speaking, I don't know. I don't know which two out of these are moving on, right? Like Group A, I'm kind of thinking, you know, it's like Paper Rex, and then it's most likely one of these. But here, it's just like, I don't know who's going. Group C. Team Liquid, NRG, EDG, DRX. So let's talk. Okay, let's talk from RQ's perspective for Group B before we move on. Tough, but Fnatic is a very pattern-based team. BLG has actually moved away from that a little bit. So RQ, while Fnatic is tough because they're so good individually, the coaching staff and Crazy Guy, they should have actually a pretty good shot. Also, like, Boaster likes to play really slow, and Crazy Guy does not mind slow. Like, he's not an IGL that freaks out because the other team is just burning time. So that's not bad. I think Billy is maybe the scarier matchup for RRQ in terms of, like, prep. And then MIBR, I think, in terms of prep, RRQ should feel fine as well, because you can kind of, like, target who you want to prep against individually speaking, and then kind of hit those weak points. Moving on to Group C. I said it during the draw itself, but this is actually, I hadn't run through, you know, obviously all the permutations, but now that I'm seeing it, this is actually the best case scenario for DRX, right? So you imagine, DRX, out of the third seeds, who is the simplest? You can't play T1. I don't think that's the greatest matchup for DRX anyway. Fnatic has historically kind of been DRX's kryptonite, internationally speaking. Just like the style and what they bring, right? The way they think about the game is a little different, and then like the crazy talented duelist. Now DRX has changed since then as well, but it would be a little tough. Sentinels, I think, also kind of has a good playstyle against a lot of the Korean teams. So EDG, like, you know them, right? They're still kind of one-dimensional for the time being. Who knows how they'll look at champions, but they're still kind of recuperating from the changes they've made. So DRX should have a pretty good time. Mechanically speaking, you've got Hyunmin and Flashback. So out of the third seeds, that's that. Out of the second seeds, listen, I've been rooting for NRG to make it to champions. I'm a big fan of NRG, but NRG, for DRX, NRG feels like the best team to prep. For DRX specifically, because I think NRG plays a style of Valorant that DRX understands, right? I don't actually think NRG is one-dimensional. I don't think they're simplistic, but I think they start with a very standard foundation of like each map, comp, etc. And then, you know, they add on to that and they kind of flush it out with whether it's individuals, you know, whether it's other kind of Valorant-specific things that you need to change. And I think DRX should have a pretty good understanding of that. Again, there's no easy team. You know, that doesn't mean that I rate NRG lower than DRG. I would rate them above, but I've said this yesterday as well, but DRG is like the upset team, in my opinion. So they're like the old FPX, which makes sense because they have the same coach. So I think DRX is okay with NRG. The first seed, DRX wasn't going to really stand a chance, except for maybe Billy, just because, like, you know them so well. But other than that, because a lot of the Pacific teams, like, know the Chinese teams really well. But other than that, none of the first seeds are really great for DRX. So these are, like, doable teams for DRX. So DRX is okay with this group, in my opinion. For everyone else, though, I think NRG is the one that's kind of... NRG is the one that, unfortunately, despite being second seed of Americas, despite going to the grand finals, despite having an amazing run in the playoffs, this feels like a group where NRG has to prove something again. I mean, I guess it's because it's also, you know, a long time coming in terms of an international appearance here. So maybe that's what it is. Team Liquid, I think, is feeling fine in this group. Team Liquid is looking fine. Team Liquid, in my opinion, is looking comfier than Paper Rex. Even though I would rate Paper Rex above Team Liquid, I think Team Liquid is a clear gap above these other teams. So Team Liquid's feeling fine. NRG and EDG. I mean, there's so many question marks in my head because I actually don't want to downplay EDG just because, you know, they're still working things out, because I think player caliber matters in a tournament-based format, in a bracket-based format. And yes, there's groups, but groups is different from Swiss. Groups, you know your opponents ahead of time, you know how it's going to pan out, and it's still basically a bracket within the group. So I think there's things that matter there in terms of how the pressure comes on, how you prep for each team, how you can kind of metagame the progression of matches. So that's one where I'm like, I don't want to count EDG out. But I will be rooting for NRG to do well. I would like them to move out of groups. It's just I'm kind of obligated to root for DRX as well, I guess. Yeah, that's tough. This one's tough, but this one has a clear number one. Group D. Oh man, G2 versus T1 and Team Heretics as potential matchups. Holy, I mean, they're starting with Team Heretics. That is a banger of a start. G2 Heretics. I mean, hey, I actually think this is a good group for Heretics, right? Prove it or shut it. I mean, you've been given another opportunity. And what better way to prove that you deserve to be there than beating out, you know, fighting against one of the tournament absolute favorites and another potential contender and a Masters winner from this year. So that should be interesting. This is an interesting group simply because I think DRG is the most upset team at Champions. And when I say upset team, I just mean that, like, in no world do I rank them above any of the teams. I think there's such a low chance, but because of, like, whether they play weird comps, because of the individuals, like, I can see them by pure just like power that they punch above their weight in any given matchup. And DRG is that team at Champs, right? They play the weird comps. They've got really talented individuals. I mean, you're just not going to really know what it feels like to play against this team unless you've scrimmed them before. So it's interesting because this group to me is the group of death. This one to me is the group of death. Group B is my second vote just because I think these three teams are pretty close to each other. But G2 and then these two, I mean, you've got a favorite and two contenders, right? All having really good history internationally, whether you've lifted trophies, whether you've been in the finals, right? So, and regionally as well. So this is interesting. And then you've got DRG, who needs to punch above their weight. Because here's the other thing. DRG is in a matchup with XLG. DRG wants to finish above XLG and vice versa because they're both Ascension teams from China. Whoever finishes above the other in the final rankings of Champions will get to stay automatically in China. The other one will have to fight through Ascension again. They'll have to play at Ascension after Champs, and they're at Champs. So they kind of have a bigger disadvantage than, say, like, for example, Nongshim and Boom, who are going to be training during Champs, and then boom, they play at Ascension, right? And one of these teams is going to have to do their best at Champions, like, give everything you've got, and then potentially have to play again. So you really don't want that to happen. And while XLG doesn't look like they've got a good shot here, I mean, DRG unfortunately is above some of the toughest competition that you've got at this tournament. So DRG, I wouldn't, like, there is a world where one of these teams, either XOG or DRG, is straight up, like, just preparing for one matchup in their group to make sure that they're not in the bottom four that get knocked out, right? The first eliminations. Because then you at least guarantee that you're staying in VCT China. Like, it's a weird situation. It's a weird situation, but in a lot of ways, it's easier for DRG to do that because, like, you're second seed, so you're like prep against the third seed, whereas XOG is like, I mean, what are you gonna do? Prepare against the one known matchup that you're gonna have, which is Paper Rex. I mean, that sounds bold, right? But for DRG, unfortunately, that third seed team is T1. And T1's got some talented individuals, and in a lot of ways, I think they're willing to welcome the fight. So that's tough, and it's a Pacific team. So I don't know if these two specifically have scrimmed against each other, but generally a lot of the Chinese teams and Pacific teams are pretty familiar with each other. So that might be the one team that DRG didn't want to have to play first for a guaranteed win. So that is interesting. But in terms of scariness, I mean, listen, I'm thinking scariest group, second scariest, third scariest, and fourth scariest. But 2 is just because these 3 are close to each other. In terms of like having a team most likely to lift the trophy, I mean, probably Group D, simply because I think there's one team that's very likely alongside Paper X, like G2 and Paper X, and then T1 and Team Heretics as well. But then it would be Group 2, Group B, and Group C. Although I rank Team Liquid pretty high as well. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, those are my thoughts on the groups. It's crazy. No matter what we had, these were going to be some crazy groups. I'm kind of happy that this is how it turned out, though, instead of having like 1 or 2 like crazy stacked groups and then the other ones that are kind of not great. Like you've got a Group D with really great matchups and really good history. You've got Group A that's kind of like, okay, like who's gonna bring the fight to Paper X? You got Group B with, you know, basically several teams that are trying to like prove that they deserve to be at the top. You know, including even Fnatic, like proving that they deserve to be back up there. But then Billy and RRQ, like both kind of a redemption run for an international appearance, right? And then you've got Group C, which is kind of haphazard, but you know, all eyes on the other 3 teams outside of Team Liquid, in my opinion. So this should be interesting. Can't wait. We've only got like 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, but let me know down in the comments below what you thought about the group draw. Which group are you most excited for? And also, which group do you think is the actual group of death? That's going to be it for this one. We will be taking the time to review VODs from all of the teams now that we know all of them in the group matchups before we actually do like pick'ems and a proper kind of power ranking or tier list, whichever one. So stay tuned for that as well. And of course, as always, if you haven't done it yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. That's going to be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time.